exist without Kevin, Goldman, and Devin. You guys have no idea how much work goes into pulling off a season, pulling off a schedule, pulling off making sure everybody's informed, pulling off making sure everybody's informed again because he gets calls that somebody didn't get the email. From buying equipment, taking care of equipment, storing equipment. Guys, all I can say to you is you have no idea what he has to do. A couple of years ago, we formed a board, and I told Kevin, my dream is I just want to coach and love kids. And he really took that to heart, and he has made it almost, with very few exceptions, giving me the opportunity to just sit back and do what I love to do. There is no greater person in this organization than Kevin and his wife Devin for doing what they do. And they do it without recognition, they do it without applause, but none of this happens without him. So, Kevin.
I look at it this way, I get to do these things, so that's part of what I love to do. And I appreciate all the help that we get, and I want to take a minute to thank some people very specifically. But up front, you know, can I take this out here? Or move it, is that better? Can you hear me? The Cowboys family, we call you the family. When I send out emails, I usually send it out Cowboy family or Cowboys in general. I think you know who you are when I send that out. But I know that every day it's hard on you parents too. Like Coach said, you know, you got to drive your kids there. You got to deal with the smelly gear in your car, in your garage, in your laundry room, in your car, in your garage, you know, and it happens weekly. We know that, and we thank you. You have to deal with the emails and the texts. My new toy is that text message thing. My wife says I send out too many. I don't think I send out enough. But I like everybody being informed. So, but I thank you for doing what you do on your side so that we can spend the time with your players and hopefully coaching them to play the game of football that we love. I want to also thank the families that helped out with cleaning the locker room this year. We didn't really ever have a cleaning or staph infection problem before because we didn't have a locker room. Now we have a locker room, so we inherited a few things. Locker room is worth it, but there's some people that have really, you guys have stepped up. I know Jeanette Weeks organized the cleaning, and Carrie Warchek really spearheaded a lot of that, helping us eliminate the staph. And that was a bad deal. But we thank you. I know it wasn't any fun being in there with more smelly boys equipment and cleaning those lockers, but we appreciate it. It really did help. Those of you who don't know, we already thank we call him the voice of the Cowboys. If you're new to the program, Ken's story, not related to the story that's a cheerleader, even though he has a daughter named Emma Story also, which I think is funny. But Ken agreed to come back and be the voice of the Cowboys again this year. He's not here because he doesn't have a kid that participates anymore. He had a player, Cam Story, who was a great player for us. Call him Coach Cam now. He comes back every once in a while and helps out. And then his daughter Emma was a cheerleader. But so we thank him, and after he did the blue-white game for us again, he agreed to come back and do that. And we're in contract negotiation with him again for next year. Hopefully he'll do it again. I would like to take a minute to thank Kyle Mosier. Kyle, come up here if you would. Kyle, if you don't know Kyle, you may not have ever seen, because he's either up in a press box, or he's on top of a roof, or he's standing on top of his SUV with a camera, because he films all of our games for us. Kyle's got cheerleaders, but he has helped us tremendously. And you know, it's not just video and pictures and stuff like that. It helps us as coaches understand our game film and go back and look, and then we can share with the players. And Kyle, we really appreciate what you do, and as a small token, thank you. Just 2 years ago, we started utilizing a system called Huddle. But this is one of the things that your player fees pay for. It's kind of expensive, but it has been instrumental in helping us with film. One of the things that we do kind of behind the scenes is we trade film with other teams. It's kind of a little bit of horse trading because, hey, you guys are playing them and we play them later, and you give us this film and we'll give you that film, and then we send them film, but we didn't include some trick plays, and we'll never include the feeder punt play and that kind of stuff. So we send them stuff, but we can do all that through that system. And just so you know, some of the things that your money goes to, that is one of them. It's instrumental in the program. We also have somebody who shoots photos for us, and I apologize, I have not sent out the latest link. Andrew Moffett, his dad was a coach for us several years ago, and Grant was a senior 2 years ago, I guess, and played for us. But their oldest son has taken pictures for us. He's the one you see sprinting up and down the field with a camera. That's Andrew, and he takes some great photos. All the stuff that's in the slideshows from him, and all the things that are on the links, and I'll send that out. If you haven't gotten your senior pictures, they're on those links. So those of you with senior players, they're there. If I could have the board members come up that are here. As Coach said, a big part of this organization is making sure that we do everything the right way, and we have outside. Kyle and I have one side that we look at it from football operations, but we felt it was really important, and so did the Cowboys organization, to have some accountability and other people. So we've had a board for the last 3 or 4 years, I guess now, and I just want to, some of the things that happened, like tonight, the board organized this, Sue Ellen put together and pulled this together, homecoming, the Wrights, Kim just went out of her way and did a lot of great things to make that happen. Jeanette is involved in about everything that we do. In addition, Jeanette and Bill are the treasurers. Well, Bill's the treasurer, and Jeanette's like the backup treasurer when I can't get hold of Bill. So, but we really appreciate them. And Irene is the cheer coach, but the cheer coach is also on the board. I'm on the board, and Kyle's, what was your title, Kyle? What do we call you? Chairman Emeritus, and historian of the Cowboys, I don't know, something. We had something long title. He's a non-voting member. But I wanted to recognize the board and just thank them for what you guys do. And you guys put up with my stupid emails that I send out and ask for things, and then they do them, and it's fantastic. So thank you guys. And let's see. Then another part of the team is Kyle and I ran around coaching, and this year was great. We had Trey, and then we had some other coaches. What were their names? Oh, it was Tyler and Charlie Brown, Thomas Love. No, we had great help this year from the coaching side. The challenge sometimes is water, the pennies. How many of you didn't know what a penny was, and now you know what a penny is from your kids' time? In fact, we figured out that we believe that's where the staph infection was on the pennies, because we weren't cleaning them. Now we clean the pennies. But, so we have managers that run around, and we yell at them, and they go get stuff, and then we yell at them because they got the wrong thing. But then by the end of the year, they kind of figured out what we were yelling at them about, and then during the games, we yell at them. And they run and get stuff, and they take water to the players at timeouts, and we yell at them. And then afterwards, we apologize to them for yelling at them. But they do a great job. And a couple of them are coming up to where they might be playing for us here in a couple of years. We hope so. So I want to recognize our managers, and I want them to come up here. So we have 2 of the Urbana boys. We got Indian River. Come on up here and stand up here with me. Where's Cooper at? Is he still eating? Where's Cooper? Cooper, come on up here. Cal stage. See, I'm yelling at him again. And Hunter, come up here, buddy. Hunter was the manager for us early on, and some circumstances came up where he had to cease and desist for a little while, and that's fine. But Hunter, this is the guy. Hunter, when you're old enough, come talk to me because I'm probably going to hire you. Hunter completely rearranged and organized the equipment on his own. And now, he didn't understand sizes with pants, so all the sizes were mixed together, but other than that, it was fantastic. And he did a great job, and he always did a great job for us. So I want to recognize you guys, and I'm spending all this in one place. Next year, and that's partially a bribe to see if they'll come back and help us. It is a big part of what we do, and we really do, because we don't have time to, I mean, they run the waters out, it's great, you guys see them running around. Let's see. I want to recognize the cheer coach, and I'm going to do that in a minute, because I need a minute. It's written right here, but I can't even start. What did they say? You're supposed to say dead cats? You can't. Dead cats. That does work. Dead cats. I'm going to read a little bit, and I'm going to try to give me 2 minutes. I don't like it when people read, but if I don't read it, I won't get it right. More dead cats. Dead cats. Dead cats. That's amazing. Try that. You struggle. 34 years ago, I walked off the football field for the last time. I was surprised how much I missed it every day. Tyler, Thomas, Big Bird, I know you're in here. You guys have played before. You miss it. And I was also surprised at how much I learned on the field and that I've applied over my lifetime. 23 years ago, I stood in the hospital looking down at my newborn son, Kemper. He was going to try to make it. He had to work late tonight. And I stood there looking at him, talking to him about football while he's in the little maternity little thing. He was a big baby, but he had a little drool running down his, so he probably wasn't listening, but I was talking about football. And I remember thinking how long it was going to be until he could play sports, or in my mind, hopefully he'd be on a football field. And it seemed like forever. 17 years ago, we adopted a son. His name's Aaron. Serving our country in the Army right now. And that same year, we had a son, Caden, who's sitting down here. And I remember thinking how long it would be until they played sports and participated in athletics that I love so much. And it seemed like forever. And then 10 years ago, we adopted our daughter, Leah. She does not play football, but she probably could. She has cheered for the Cowboys. When we started homeschooling in Florida so many years ago, it was obvious to me that my boys weren't going to be able to play football because of the way the structure of the school systems were and all that kind of stuff, and it just wasn't going to work out. It wasn't a place for homeschoolers to participate. And it was difficult, but I knew that their education was important. And I was constantly thinking about how football had really shaped my life, and some specific incidents that I can go back to today that changed the way I look at things, the way I look at the way I work, the way I look at how I interact with people, and the things that I do, and I learned those on the football field. And I learned them in the locker room, I learned them watching film, I learned them hanging out with the guys, I learned all those things. And it's made a big difference in my life. And I was kind of feeling sorry for myself there in Florida, and I remember specifically I was sitting at an intersection in Tampa, Florida, getting ready to get on the Crosstown Expressway. If you know anything about the Tampa area, I lived down there, and God laid it on my heart very specifically, and He said, "It's that important to you, then start something." So we started a program there in Florida, and became very involved in it, was fairly successful, and Kemper played down there, and then I got transferred. So it came to, and I started Googling, because you could still Google in that year. And I started Googling homeschool football, Huntsville, Alabama, and one thing kept coming up. Freedom, at that time it was Freedom Academy, Cowboys. And so I contacted them, and it was good. And we fell in love with the Cowboys. And we fell in love with the way that Kyle mentored the boys and the way he took care of them. And Devin, I can remember the day she said, "I like him. I like what he does." And when your wife approves, and it's a good thing. So, all three of my boys have played for the Cowboys. Somebody say dead cats. Thank you. You guys are missing your cue, dead cat. From when they were freshmen and little to when they were big and seniors. And I thought it would last forever. So my role was always tough having a player on the field. Dead cats, dead cats. They get hurt, they struggled. Kemper took an ambulance ride one time. I know that feeling, Carrie. You know, when they're down. Melanie, I know that feeling. It's hard, but watching them struggle and watching them grow and watching them learn the things that I've learned was always incredible. And now I'm not a player's dad anymore. So all I got left is coach and AD. And as I say every year, the athletic director position is open if somebody wants to take it. I think a lot of times fresh ideas are a good thing. And pay is terrible. The benefits are outstanding. If it's all right with you guys, I'd like to enjoy the benefits a little longer and stick around, but the position is still open. And we encourage you guys to get involved the best you can. If you know, whatever you can do, whether it's bringing stuff to a potluck or coaching or doing film. At some point, Kyle's going to get tired of me emailing him in the middle of the night asking him where the film is. So, whatever you can do to help. And I appreciate you giving me a second to say these things, because it has been a big part of my life, and I want this to continue. There's still kids that I'd like to mentor to, and as long as Kyle sticks around, I'm planning on sticking around. But the position is open. Okay? So if you want it, I'll consult you. I'll be an outside consultant. I'll phone it in. All right, now back on schedule. Now that put us off schedule. All right, cheer coach. Wait a minute, hang on. Are you going to talk about those two? Not the those. You want me to do that? Okay. Hang on. All right, I need the cheer coaches could come up. I'm going to introduce you, and then I'm going to turn it over to you. So, the cheer program, the cheer squad is a huge part of the Cowboys program. A lot of times we don't do a good enough job of saying thank you and saying that we recognize what you guys do. Is Jana here? Where's Jana? Jana, come hither. You're sick? Oh, lipstick. Okay. I feel your pain back there. All right. The cheer, all you girls, you guys are so outstanding, and we love you, and we appreciate what these three ladies have done for this program, what Irene has brought to the table with Jana, and Wendy added on this year, and just what they do, and it's so fantastic that now they don't practice right near the boys. We've kind of had this discussion. It's very distracting for 16 and 17-year-old boys for the cheer squad to practice next to them. So we've got to move. We got all this space. So we just say, go way down there, and it works out great. So we appreciate you guys. I'm going to turn it over to you, but I do want to recognize you with just a small token.
Good evening, everyone. I first want to thank all of the parents of the cheerleaders. I know what a commitment it is to get those girls to the practices and to the games, and I just want to tell you thank you. The three of us have loved your girls this year. Each and every one of them are so special to us. And because they're so special, what we decided to do this year, we have 15 girls, and so each of us are going to do 5 awards for each of the girls. So each one of us can, and we just kind of, we didn't put a lot of thought into who got which girl. We just decided to split the girls up so each of the coaches could have something to say to the young ladies. So I'm going to ask Ms. Jana, but before you guys start, I have something for the coaches. When Miss Beverly, who we love so much, asked me if I would be willing to do this for the girls, I was nervous and hesitant, and then she said, "You can do it, you can do it." And I decided that I would take it on. And there was a special lady who had already been working with the cheerleaders, who gave so much to them, and she loves cheerleading. And she's worked with me this year, and I wanted to say thank you very much as Ms. Jana. Thank you for all of your support, Freedom Cowboys Cheerleading. Yes. And to Miss Wendy. How talented Miss Wendy was for a very, very long time, and what a fantastic dancer and choreographer she was. And with lots of fear and trepidation, I called her, and I knew I was going to get turned down, but I was like, worst thing she could say to me is no, so you might as well call. And she did say no at first. And then I said, well, we're going to have so much fun. Don't you want to come and just dance with us a little bit? I said, well, just help me with this one little move. And then she was like, oh, goodness, and she just came on. So I am so thankful she did. And she's been a wonderful choreographer. I just want to say thank you so much. So we're going to start with Miss Jana, who's done this before. She's a veteran, so she's going to start and do the first 5, and then Miss Wendy will do her 5, and then I'll do 5.
Okay, I was told to put my face real close to the microphone. And I have a cheat sheet. I thought I could do it without it, but that's something against it. Okay, my first award is Most Valuable Cheerleader. This goes to a young lady that I've known for 3 years now. There's a quote by William Shakespeare. She's going to be really mad at me for saying this. The quote is, "Though she be little, she is fierce." And this young lady, she is amazing. She is little and fierce. She takes a lick and keeps on ticking. She just works so hard, and she always gives everything her all. This award goes to Lily Midmore. This award is for a young lady who's also been one of my cheerleaders for 3 years. She's a quiet young lady, very, very sweet, but at the same time, she has a really, really quick wit, and she's got a wonderful, wonderful sense of humor that you wouldn't really think that she had because she's so quiet. But, she's got a great, quiet confidence, and she's always dependable and there, and she has the best suggestions that she gives without fanfare. And a lot of the things that we've changed in cheers or changed in dances have come from her, and you would have never known it because she doesn't do it in a way that oversteps any bounds or steps on anyone's toes. And so she gets the Leadership Award. This goes to Jessica Kubik. This award is something that I always say to my girls, something that I want them to give me all the time when we're practicing cheers. I want to see power, punch, and precision. So they're always like, "Ugh, Miss Jana, stop it." So this award goes to a young lady that it's a technique award. She has great technique, and I was really surprised because this is a new girl on our team, and she always does everything by the book as far as cheerleading goes. Sharp, perfect motions. And I believe she was a cheerleader before she came to us, and she's had years and years of dance, but I've never seen her cheer before. This award goes to Kendall Johnson. This young lady is also one of my cheerleaders for the past 3 years. She's a senior. I'm going to be sad to see her go. She's got a really, really big, her shoes are hard to fill. I am going to miss her. I'm going to cry. I use her a lot as an example. She's like my paper doll. I'm always saying, "Come up here, Kathy, and do this cheer to show everybody else how to do it, please." So I'm going to need to be calling her a lot. So can you come back next year and show everybody else how to cheer? And I'm also always going, "Cassidy, how does this cheer go?" Cassidy, come get your leadership award. This next award goes to a new cheerleader. This one's near and dear to my heart. I was pleasantly surprised because I know this young lady really well. She's a new to cheering, and I think she did a great job this year. I enjoyed watching her grow and learn to cheer, and she really blew me away. She was great at it. Rain Spore, come get your Rising Star Award. That's it for me.
Our family has been a part of the Cowboys family for about 6 years now. First as a spectator. Our son-in-law was quarterback in 2012, 13, somewhere around there. So we watched all the games from the stands, and then we had cheerleaders. So this year we do have 2 girls on the squad, so it really would have been very selfish of me to say no, that I wouldn't help out when I have, several. Anyway, boys and girls, young men, young ladies, if you ever in your life feel like someone does not love you, think about these coaches. The hearts of these coaches. They love you. We love you. Don't ever, ever, ever let go of that. There is always somebody that loves you in the Freedom Cowboys family. Never forget that. The first award that I'm going to give out tonight is to a young lady who couldn't be here tonight with us, but I want to tell you about her and how special she is and how unique she is. The Cowboys stand for athleticism, dedication, all this in the spirit of Christ and in the service of Christ. And I think that those traits, they're good to focus on now, but they will go with you into your adult life, and I want you to carry those. Emma Story came to us. First thing I remember noticing about her was her smile. That girl is joyous. Every time I see her, when I think about her, I smile. She has such a sweet heart. She can do anything she sets her mind to. It's just so special. She came in with determination, did anything we asked of her, and she's just fun. She takes brightness with her. She gets our Sparkle and Shine Award, Miss Emma Story. The next Emma Story. Our next young lady, Alyssa, she came to us after the season had already started. So that can be very difficult from a coaching perspective as well as from the cheerleader's perspective, but she came in with this quiet confidence that it was just amazing to see. She stood and watched and observed, and then she just lit up, and she did everything that we asked of her. She just got it, and it was so wonderful just to see her blossom, and I can't wait to see what's hopefully going to come with her next year. Alyssa, would you come up? We've got a new award for the Cowboys Star, and these are girls that just exemplify what this organization is all about. I've known this young lady for a couple of years. She came to cheer with us also to support her brother, who is a senior this year. And if you know her, she's also fearless. That's one of the traits of some of these girls that just I admire so much. They're fearless. She brings a sense of brightness to everything that she does. She's a loyal friend. She is a strong ambassador of Christ. She's amazing. Miss Anna Grace Neal. Another Cowboy Star Award winner this year is I got to spend a little extra time with this young lady, and I loved getting to talk one-on-one with her. She had incredible insight. Anytime I asked her opinion about something, she gave it in the most diplomatic but heartfelt and honest way that I could I love that about her. I got to know that she tries many different, I think she's in choir, she's trying for basketball, she likes to be involved in a lot of things. She's an excellent sister, just a very, very welcome part of the Cowboy family, and she has just a spirit about her that I know is going to take her really far in life. Miss Layla Cooper. To give out is to someone that I've known since she was a little girl, and she's beautiful. All our girls are beautiful. When you get to watch a child grow, I don't know, there's a special place in your heart. She's a beautiful dancer. She gets me when I say, releve or Trisha pirouettes or whatever ballet terminology that I draw out of my hat in cheer practice, which kind of sounds incongruous, but she gets me. And I love that about her. She is just growing into a beautiful, godly young woman. She is an excellent big sister. She is her mother's daughter in every sense of all the good, gracious ways. She's a loving and loyal friend, Miss Annie Rose Tucker.
There's a young lady that gives you 100% of the time. There is never an opportunity that this young lady doesn't completely think through just about every decision she makes. Leah Mosier, you could come on up. When asked to do even something little like vote on something, she weighs all the odds and then she goes in for wise counsel. She's a methodical thinker that always gives her best and always thinks of others. When there's a time to do or say something thoughtful or do something thoughtful for someone else, she's the first one who thinks of something thoughtful to say or thinks of something thoughtful to do. She even, when the seniors, 2 weeks before we had senior night, she came to me and she said, I really want to do something really sweet for my sister. And so we talked about it. Dead cats. And she would come up with ideas and say, what do you think about this, Miss Irene? What do you think about that? And she thought way ahead of when the night was going to be to do something really sweet for somebody that she loves so much. And that just defines who she is as a person. That's why we are giving her this evening the Cowboy Star Award. At the beginning of our school year, we had an injury. One of our precious girls fell in a stunt, and that stopped me in my tracks. I could not. My heart couldn't. My mind couldn't. I was worried. I was calling her mama. I was worried some more. I was calling Wendy. Wendy was telling me to calm down. I was texting Jana. Jana was like, I think she's fine. But it also taught us to change a few little things and to do some things a little different. And it was a moment that kind of has defined the three of us to work together in a really special way. And that special somebody is Rebecca Wiersma. Come on up, Rebecca. She was determined to continue. Even during and after physical therapy, she was determined to continue. I would look at her beautiful smile and say, Becca, how are you feeling? Are you okay? And she would smile, and I know she was giggling at me like, I'm fine, I told you 40 times. I would say, if you're hurting, you know you can have a seat. And with never-ending determination, she would always say, I'm good. So this evening, we are giving Rebecca the Bounce Back Award. After a game one evening, a little lady came up to me and said, I'd like to cheer. I was hesitant at first because, we had already had a couple games, and I'm thinking, that's a lot to learn real quick. And then there was a little voice that said, please, I really want to cheer for my brother. And at that moment, I remembered the purpose of why we're doing what we do. Haley, where are you? Come on. So hard to make sure that she could keep up and fully participate. And that's why she gets the Courage Award. There's a young lady on the squad that has been a cheerleader on the squad for 6 seasons. When I first asked her to be one of the captains, it was because of seniority. She was just like been there forever. However, I watched her grow into a leader. And then I watched her grow into a leader that was a good leader regardless of influence and surroundings. Allie Mosier. Towards the end of this season, Allie was executing skills that we had just kind of talked about at the beginning, but we had no idea she could actually do them. And she was doing these things, and the three of us were looking at each other like, where'd that come from? And she helped to teach that last dance that they did. She and Cassidy created it all on their own. And during the practices during that time, Allie was so solid. And she was such a good leader during that time. And I just want to tell you that you're on a roll. One of my favorite quotes is, "Higher than the highest human thoughts is God's idea for his children." That's your destiny. And that's why we are giving you the leadership award. Last but certainly not least, there's an award that is a little different from the others. This award is a little different, and it's special because the girls vote on the Spirit Award. And there was a young lady this year that showed that she could be mature and also relatable with the younger girls. Kate Carpenter. You're a very, very special cheerleader that has been a mature rock all year. Thank you. This lady has shown leadership skills and has been consistent with all of the girls. Friends with the older cheerleaders and still loving and friends with the younger cheerleaders. She's always willing to help with whatever is needed. My favorite thing was when we got the new flags. And I could tell a couple of the girls were a little skeptical. Kate was like, "Where's the flag?" And without us having to ask her, she took it on as her little project, and she ran that flag every time somebody made a touchdown. She was so excited about it. She was one of our co-captains this year, and she will be our captain next year. Let's put our hands together for Kate Carpenter, the Spirit Award recipient. I would like for Joy, Jerusalem, and Jessie Berlin to come up. They are wonderful girls who have been there for the cheerleaders. We call them our cheerleader ambassadors. At the first little thing, we were doing face painting, and we realized that they were a special integral part, and they took it over. They took it over, and they came prepared, and they did it for the younger girls that when we did the starlets, and for any of the other younger girls, and for other kids.
To present these roses to our cheerleaders and say thank you. Of what we do. Many of you weren't around when these young men played. Both of them were superstars. Both of them played on one of our best football teams we ever had. But both of them were like sons to me. We've had many, many more conversations over the last couple of years about a lot of other things other than football. But that's the reason I do this. And I hope as they get older, and I hope as they continue with their careers, they'll certainly remember the days with the Cowboys, remember the times with Coach Collins. But I just want to say thanks to both of them. This guy's really, his name's really not Charlie Brown, by the way. His real name is Thomas Lovett. I'll tell you a real quick story. His parents put on a bonfire, and I got up in front of everybody and I said, let's all make sure we thank Mr. and Miss Brown for doing this for us. Hey, give him a hand. Thank you. Tyler asked me, when was I going to be head coach? That's Tyler. Real quickly, for those of y'all that's not been involved in the organization, let me tell you what this organization is all about. It's all about growing up some young men, turning them into real men, and so that they can be godly men. That's what it's all about. We just use football as a tool. Somehow, some way, I want them to understand that life is not fair. You got to work for what you get. Sometimes somebody is better than you. Sometimes you're not getting the promotion. You're not getting the job to work harder, to get better, to fight for what you believe in, and also fight for the guys that you play with. It is a little family outside the family. It's the greatest sport in the world because this sport teaches young men things that they will remember the rest of their life when they don't even know they're learning it. And that's why I do it. Because it has meant so much to me. And in the world that we live in, that there is a war, there's an attack on manhood. And manhood is defined by so many things that have nothing to do with being a man. It's defined about when you're a young boy, if you can be the bully. Are you the guy that can beat everybody up? When you get into your adolescence and your early 20s, then it's defined by the bedroom. And then later on in your life, it's defined by a billfold. And none of those things have anything to do with being a man. So what we try to do in our own little way is we try to say, hey, gentlemen, you're going to respect the women in your life. You're going to have a servant heart. You're going to think and act as the guy standing beside you is more important than you, and his desires, his wants, and the things that he wants is just as important as yours. And football is a beautiful thing because let me tell you, football says, I've got to be successful or he's not going to be successful. It also says, if he's not successful, I'm not going to be successful. So, somehow, some way, that's what we try to be like. That's what we want this Cowboys organization to be about. And that's the things that each and every day we're trying to grow on. We've got a bunch of kids that will never come back and play this game again. But all of you, I want you to know that you have learned things that you didn't know you was being taught. If you'll meditate on those things, make sure that you put God first, love your family and your friends second, take care of your career somewhere down the way. It'll all work out because that's the way it was designed to do. And don't listen to what the news tells you, and don't listen to what the internet tells you about being a man, because all that's false. It's from Satan, and it is from that's why they call him the father of lies. You be a man when you become a good husband. You be a man when you become a good father. You be a man when you become a good man. And that's what this game, and this organization anyway, is really all about. And through preaching, let's get some words. Our first little word is a lesson. And it's a lesson in getting ahead in life. The story goes like this. I have a bunch of kids who all the time, Trent, who are saying, "Hey coach, I can run the ball." Charlie Brown used to say, "Hey, I can play quarterback." You know, they all are real quick to tell me what they can do. Well, earlier this year, about 6 games into the season, before practice, some of the kids are clowning around. I'm looking at what we're going to do at practice. I look up, and the reason I notice is this kid is doing this. Well, for those of y'all that are old enough, that's the way we used to make a T in the ground back in the old days. And that's what caught my eye. And I thought, what the heck is he doing? And sure enough, he set that ball down into that little T that he dug in the ground. And I thought, oh, he's going to kick the ball. And boom, he kicks the ball. And it just goes forever. So I look at Kevin and I say, Kevin. Sit down there. Sure enough, the kid starts doing it again. I said, watch this. Sticks the ball around. Boom! About 50 yards. I said, why don't you go over and get a tee and see if he can do that on the tee. Sure enough, he goes out there and gets the tee. The kid just starts kicking it out of sight. So Kevin asked him, hey, why didn't you tell us you could kick? Well, coach, I thought if I told you I could kick, you might not let me play, quarterback. I got Trent, who's wanting to play quarterback, receiver, run kickoffs on the kickoff, and then I got another kid who's just humble enough he doesn't want to tell me. So we have a little award for him. It's called the Next Time Let the Coach Know Award. And it goes to Nathan Leslie. Friday night, you will, every once in a while, things are going on. I'm talking to guys on sidelines. I got Tyler trying to tell me what play to run. And then all of a sudden I'll hear, bam! And I'll look out there and I'll say, who was that? And every time I ask the question, they'd say, it was this young man. And literally, every time I heard a great lick or a great hit, it was this young man. And the problem is, this is one of the smallest kids on the whole team. So we created an award for this young man called the Dynamite Award, because dynamite comes in small packages. And it goes to Daniel Little Hulk Wright. Don't ask me how these guys get their names. They just happen. But Little Hulk, 3 years ago, I don't know how long ago, he was little. He was about this tall, and I grabbed him on the shoulders one day at practice, and he got the name Little Hulk. I don't know if he works out or does steroids or what he does. Also, every year it seems like we have some new entries to our team, and you know, we start to watch them, and some of them are really, really exciting, and some of them we think, oh, that was going to take a little time, and some of them we think, man, he's got, you know, a good set of legs or a good arm or something like that, and we start watching them. And every once in a while, we get a kid who's got the whole package. He's versatile, he's quick, he's speedy, he has great instincts, he does everything right, except he's just a little bit squirt. So we have created an award this year. It's called the Muscle Milk Award. And it goes to Dominic Sammy. He also purchased his first gallon of muscle milk and he won a day, okay? You know, there's all kinds of personalities on the team, right? And this is a beautiful thing. There's all kinds of personalities in life. And it takes all of us to make it go around. Each year, you know, you've got the loud ones, you got the quiet ones, you got the quirky ones, you got the weird ones, you got all kinds. There is not any way that my education at Auburn and my law degree and all the books I've read have enabled me to adequately, with my vocabulary, explain this person. So, we basically created this year what we're going to call the Walt Disney Award. Because this guy is goofy. Trent Plank. I'll tell a quick story about Trent. After Lyman Ward, I think, he forgot his shirt. You know, our kids forget something all the time. My girlfriend, Marchand, happened to have his shirt. Stand up, Marchand. Marchand probably wears a size 1 shirt. And I said, do you need a dry shirt? There's a picture of this somewhere, by the way. You got it? Okay. Anyway, he puts the shirt on. Not a pretty sight. That's all I'm gonna say. Kevin.
Okay. Just for the record, when I sat back down over there, Kyle leaned over and said, "You didn't just resign, did you?" And I said, "No, I didn't resign. Unless somebody wants the job." All right. It is my pleasure to introduce this award. Like Kyle said, every year there's different stories that your coaches know. There's different people, there's different personalities, there's so many different things, and I learn as much from the kids as hopefully they do from us. And this young man came to us and said that he wanted to play, and he was a senior, and he just wanted to play football before he graduated. And came out in the spring and didn't know much about football, but he did what coaches love. He was a sponge, he asked questions, he worked hard, he did what we asked him to do. Came back in the fall and worked even harder, did everything we asked, never complained, was part of the team, and just a wonderful young man to be around. He's got a bright future ahead, and we call this the No Regrets Award, Jacob Neal. Players come back, hopefully. You guys are all required to come back that didn't graduate, by the way. And if coach didn't tell you, if you are graduating, you're required to recruit one before you're allowed to leave the team. That is a rule, scout rule. This young man has played for us a couple years, and he has grown in knowledge and grown in skill, and he has his improvement this year was exponential. And I don't remember exactly what game it was. Thomas could probably tell me, but there was a time, and he just changed gears and became a valuable part of our linemen. And the most improved player this year goes to Ethan McDonald. This award is, these young men all have, their characteristics and their things that they learn and traits, and obviously U.S. families have instilled in them different things, and those kids that want to be part of what we do, want to be part of the organization, whether they play a lot or they play a little, it doesn't matter, but they want to be part of what we do. And this year we have a Cowboys Service Award. And this year, this young man has always been part of what we're doing, whether it's, getting some of you players have gotten really good at avoiding cleaning up after practice, and some of you just kind of wander off, and you know who you are, okay? We always have the kids clean up. This guy's always part of that, and I don't think there's a day that's going by, and he did tonight again for me, and I love it every time. It says, "Coach, is there anything I can do for you? Anything I can help you with?" And Luke Spiegel, Cowboys Service Force.
For the past several years, we've given out this award to a young man who we believe should grow into a very, very good football player. This young man has shown us, even last year as well as this year, that he has the ability, he has the character, and he definitely has the want to be the next great player for the Freedom Cowboys. Now, the problem with being the player who wins the most potential award is that the expectations are now very, very high from their coach. So their coach would expect them to meet or exceed his expectations on a daily basis. So you may or may not want to come get this certificate when I call your name. But this kid, I look very much forward to the next coming years because I know him, I know what he's made of, and I believe in him. So the most potential award goes to Joshua Beebe. And by the way, Joshua Beebe Butler probably ranks about number 2 behind Trent Plank on the award that he got. One day he was sitting in the locker room giving me women advice. It wasn't bad advice. There's a couple of young men I want to just recognize. We don't have a certificate, we don't have an award, but they need to be recognized. Every Thursday, every Tuesday of this year, we needed volunteers to run our scout team. And scout team is, I spend lots of time on scout team and all. It's not the most fun. It's a faceless job with no recognition, and you usually end up hurting a lot at the end of the day. But there was 2 young young men who were very eager always to be a part of that. And I'm just going to ask them to stand up when I call their name, and I want you to honor them with your hand clap, because one of the things that I love as a coach is seeing big hearts. You know, there's athleticism and but you know, big hearts and effort take no talent. And these two young men need to be recognized. Calvin Mitchell and Noah Walter, who I call Mighty Mike. Stand up. I told Calvin one day, I said, Calvin, you're one of my most favorite people on the team. And he thanked me, and he thought about it, and he thought about it, and he thought about it. And about 15 minutes later, he said, I need to ask you something. I said, okay. He said, why am I one of your most favorite people on the team? The conversation was private between us, so I won't reveal that, but I knew he'd been thinking about it all practice long. Another young man I want to acknowledge right now, he's been with us a couple of years. I remember in Panama City about 3 years ago, we sat after a game, and he said, Coach, I'm not coming back. And I said, that's a mistake. I want you to be back. You've got an opportunity to be a part of this. And he did come back. And he's not only just a small part, he became a big part of who we are. And he was a big part of our success this year. He has made the decision that next year he's going to go to public school and try to show out there. And he and I sat for a long time beginning of this season and discussed, should he do it or not? And if you want to know, if you want to test your Christianity, you have a 6'2", 275-pound lineman tell you he may want to go play somewhere else, and you got to do what's right for him. That'll test you. But I did want to let you know that Terrell Barton, this is his last banquet with us. We want to honor him and say thank you for all you've done for us. Terrell, stand up. The last person I want to talk about is your guy's been in the program for years. His whole family's been in the program. I've been part of the program for years. He had some tough breaks this year, and he literally had a tough break this year. Got his ankle broke week before the opening game. Spent the entire year on the bench, not because he wouldn't play, but because he's on crutches. It was his senior year. It was one of the saddest days we've had in a long time around here. But Little Bird, you are forever a part of who we are, and we thank you for everything you've done. Stand up. Stand up again, Little Bird. Go ahead, come on up here. Come here for a second. I'm not making you cry. I'm going to make you laugh. All of you that were around in the 70s, meatloaf. How about, huh? Am I right? All right. Now we're going to do some hardware. I like hardware. All right. One of the things I wanted to also point out was I'm coach of lineman, so some of you know I was not a lineman. I was a linebacker and running back. But I've been fortunate and blessed to have Thomas. We handed over the reins to Thomas to coach the line this year, and he did a great job because he played the position, he understands the position, and in my mind I'd be thinking, okay, we're going to tell him block that one, Thomas. No,
they got to block this way, and I'm like, that's why he's out here. So I appreciate it. I just want to get a chance to say thank you again, and to Thomas for helping out. So this year, I am handing out the most valuable offensive lineman award. A team like ours, sometimes people call us ground and pound. We like to run the ball, and you got to have an effective line to do that. And you got to have. And we have a big line. We've had. That's your fault. So I'd like to honor this young man. We talk about it a lot, and from a character standpoint, from a skill standpoint, from a where he's come from to get to where he is standpoint, this young man deserves this award. And on top of it, it's hard enough to block somebody, but when you got to snap the ball before you do it, there's a lot to it. I don't think Brady had maybe one bad snap. Jacob, what do you think? Riley, how many bad snaps? Maybe one all year. And for a team that runs everything out of shotgun, that's amazing. That's one less thing the coach's got to worry about, that ball going over the quarterback's head. Brady Connolly, most valuable offensive lineman. Brady, how old are you? 16. 16. God, I love that. Most valuable defensive lineman. When I do the video, and well, you haven't seen the video, the clips and everything, I look at a lot of film. We all do as coaches. We go through it a lot. And when you go down the stat sheet, is one thing, and then you look at film. And sometimes there's a difference in what you see. And from a defensive standpoint, this young man wreaked havoc. And we like that on defense. We're a homeschool Christian football organization. So we say, man, just drive him to the ground with love of Jesus. And it's hard sometimes. There were years we'd go without an unnecessary roughness call. And we had a couple this year, and as I've told him since last year, buddy, I need you this close to that personal foul. So, most valuable defensive lineman, Noah Collier.
The reason I got to introduce this guy, I gave them some gift cards, but I didn't get a chance to introduce Trey. Real quickly, Trey Gaines, who coached with us this year. Trey and I go back to about 1983. We played football together at Auburn. Trey was no bigger than he is now. One of the best football players I was ever around at Auburn. Here's the thing about Trey that you need to know. Great guy, loves Jesus, and he's a real football coach. He actually knows what he's talking about, and he knows how to teach your son how to play the game. Trey came to me this summer, and he said, hey, I want to talk to you. I had no idea what he wanted to talk to me about. Within an hour, I said, you need to join us. We need you, and you need us. I'm glad to have you. So, Trey Gaines.
Privilege to be back again. Come a long way since. Yeah, when the first banquet was RC colored with pies and a pat on the back. So doing all right for yourself. I'm going to give out 2 awards. The first one's going to be the most valuable defensive back. This young man, as a coach, anybody that's ever coached before, if you've written down a wish list of a player, this guy would fit the bill. He's teachable, he's coachable, he's like a sponge, he absorbs everything, and he just wants to work hard and please you. And as a coach, that just makes you show up every day. You know, football can be a grind sometimes. It's like life. But he came to work every day with his pail, his lunch pail. He was ready to go to work. It didn't matter if it's raining or shining, hot or cold. Told Kyle he's the kind of guy you want to build a program around. He's the guy you like having a foxhole with you, watching your back. I remember several times he would come up to you after practice and say, "Coach, what do I need to work on? I need to get better. What can I do? What can I do to help this team?" And he's definitely a team guy. I want to present the most valuable defensive back for 2018 Freedom Cowboys at number 23, Jaden Hermina.
And when you play offense, you get a lot of recognition. Okay, these guys in the dirt, they hardly ever get any recognitions. Defensive backs, the only time they ever get recognition is when they get burnt for a touchdown. The offensive guys, they're the pretty boys. They're the boys that get to run the ball, get to touch the ball, get to score touchdowns, get to wink at the cheerleaders. Hey, I played offense. That's the reason I know all this stuff. This young man is a legacy kid. He's a special kid. He's a very exciting kid, and he can probably, much like Tyler Irvin, make me more mad quicker than anybody else on the field. But he has to know that I love him, because I do. He has been a rock for us the last couple of years. Always a guy that you said, hey, he can break one any minute in the game. And he liked to dance a lot out on the football field. I don't know how he does it on the dance floor, but he does dance on the football field. He's our leading rusher and our most valuable most valuable offensive back for 2018 is Caden Goldman.
Second award I'm going to give out is the most valuable defensive player. And this young man is, Jesus told us to wash other people's feet. He would be the first in line. He's definitely a servant, has a servant's heart. Never complained. He's kind of like the MacGyver of the 2018 Cowboys. He can do anything, he can fix anything. He'd play any position you asked him to, he never complained. Understand this is only his second year playing football. And he's a pleasure to coach, a pleasure to be around. He led the team in solo tackles. He led the team in interceptions. Every time he turned around, he was around the ball. This year's most valuable defensive player is number 4, Josiah Burley.
Next award is the most valuable offensive player for the Cowboys in 2018. I can say without probably any argument, I don't know where we would be without him. He showed up in the spring, never had played the game before. It was obvious that he was an athletic kid, but what wasn't obvious was his demeanor, his character, and the way he approached the game with focus, with humbleness, with toughness, with integrity. As Trey just said, everything a coach wants in a player. I marveled at him and how a kid who never played the game before picked it up so quickly, but not just how he picked it up so quickly, how he affected the game by the way he played. A lot of you may not know what I mean by that, but he never moved off of this level. Never too high, never too low. And each and every almost play got to be better, better, better. You will all agree that we would have been a very different football team without him. There's no doubt who the most valuable offensive player for 2018, Riley Warchick. One thing I didn't mention about Trey is Trey used to coach for the Cowboys years ago. And one of Trey's legacies is that he created or brought it up. I don't know how exactly happened. He brought up the Lionheart Award. The Lionheart Award, and I'll just read you what we have on the plaque. The lion is a symbol of courage. And to have a heart of a lion is to be devoted to a lifestyle of mental, physical, and emotional courage. To be brave, courageous, bold, and to continue in spite of the odds. To be a lion heart, one must reach deep within themselves to find the courage, no matter what, to continue for oneself and the ones he must protect. The Lionheart Award goes to a young man who has, just like it says, a lion heart, a courageous heart, an unselfish heart, a heart that says, whatever you ask me to do, I will do, and I'll do it to the best of my ability. Whatever you ask me to do, I will do it to the best of my ability without question. It is one of my favorite awards because it speaks to who we are, who our spirit is. And it speaks to this young man that he is the type of young man that he would be willing to day in, day out, work hard, get better, and do everything we ask him, just like he said about Josiah. We asked him to do so many different things, and he did them, and he did them well. Didn't always do them right, but that's not what Lionheart's about. Lionheart is about courage. It's about boldness. It's about giving the effort to do what you need to do, to protect, and in this case, help the people around you. The 2018 Lionheart Award goes to Jake Lott. Every once in a while, you don't really have an award that fits, but you know you got to recognize somebody. You've got to absolutely make sure that in this setting, at this place, that this young man gets recognized. So you create an award, and then you think about what kind of award are we going to create for this young man. Every single day, twice a day that we practice, we all grab hands and we get in a circle, and I tell him, look to your left, look to your right. He depends on you. You depend on him. This young man is the epitome of that. He is not the best athlete that's ever played for the Cowboys, but he's a good athlete. He's not the best football player to ever play for the Cowboys, but he's a good football player. But let me tell you what this kid is. This kid is all in, all about helping his teammates be as good as they can be, encouraging them when they're down, doing what he has to do, even if it means he's got to come out of the game to give his team the opportunity to win. And then when he's called on, he performs. We created this award, and it's called the Depend on Me Award. And I'll just read you what it says. It just has 4 simple words on it. It says selfless, servant, competitor, teammate. 2018 Freedom Cowboys Depend on Me Award goes to the heart and soul of the 2018 football team. That's Jacob Kinney. And this last award before we name our permanent captains is the Cowboy of the Year. Those y'all never been here, the Cowboy of the Year is supposed to be the young man who best represents the ideals of who we want to be. Notice I said the ideals of who we want to be. We don't always reach who we want to be. But who we want to be is we want to be fearless. We want to be compassionate. We want to be competitive, but we don't want to worry about recognition. We want to create godly men. And we want to show the world, not by our mouths, but by our actions, that who you say we are, we are. And so every year we honor a young man that best represents this. And quite honestly, this young man and every young man who wins this award, we ought to be proud that he goes out in the community and he says, I was a Freedom Cowboy. And we ought to say, we're glad he's out in the community saying I'm a Freedom Cowboy, because he's a great ambassador for who we are. This year's winner is one of the toughest kids I've ever been around in my life. He's one of the best kids I've ever been around in my life. He is unselfish. He is as honest as he can be. I mean, I could ask him anything, he'd tell me the truth. But you know, sometimes really wasn't what I want to hear, but I'd ask him and he'd tell me. He's never really said anything but yes sir, no sir to me. And he's always honored himself, his teammates, and his family, and in everything that he does. Primarily the effort that he gives, not just on Friday night, because anybody can give effort on Friday night. I'm talking about every single practice, every single drill, full speed, pull your ears back, here I come. I may not know what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it full speed. 2018 Freedom Cowboy of the Year. And I'll read what it says. It is not the circumstances that define us. It is how we respond that does. And I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And my bet is that Ethan Butler can do anything. The next recognition is our permanent captains. What does a permanent captain mean? It means it's probably the highest honor we give. Why is it the highest honor we give? Because they vote on it. The players vote for the permanent captain. We name them every year, and we recognize them every year because they are who we are, whatever year that it is. We will ask each of them to come up, but as I said, this is voted on by the players. The 2018 Freedom Cowboys permanent captains are, in no specific order, Jacob Kinney, Ethan Butler, Riley Warshak, Brady Conley, and Terrell Barton. Can you carry that one back to your seat, Riley? That'll be okay. Here we go. Lastly, I want to ask all our seniors to come back to the stage. Jacob, I'm sorry you had to walk up here so many times. So seniors, come on up. I want y'all on stage up here. Get right over there. This is where I'll probably say dead cats. I try to tell these snotty-nosed little punk kids of yours that one day it'll be open, that they'll be able later in their life to play golf and tennis, and softball, and baseball, go bowling, and racquetball. But one day football's gonna be over. And typically for 97% of the children in America, it's over. They play the last game in high school. And I don't remember my last game. Did guess. That's not why I'm upset. I'm upset because they invested much time in me, and I invested much time in them, and I know they're your kids, but they're my kids. And I know the many, many hours that we all get to spend together, both good and bad times, those go away after tonight. It is a moment in their life, in a time in their life, that is going to be special to them. Maybe not so much tonight, but later on. About 3 years ago, we had a death of somebody I went to high school with, and a bunch of us got together, and there were about 8 of us sitting over at the house after the funeral, and we were sitting around chit-chatting, and guess what we were talking about? High school football. After 40 years, we're still talking about high school football. So tonight, coaches, if you'll help pass this out, we want to present to them something that just hopefully they'll keep for the rest of their lives, to let them know how much they mean to us and mean to our organization. And personally, I just like to make sure that each of you know I love you. And just to think that Ms. Mosier said, if there's ever comes a time that you don't think that you were loved, then you call Coach Collins and he'll remind you. Ladies and gentlemen, 2018 Freedom Cowboys seniors, give them a hand. It is not a new car. What we do is we give them all a 8x11 of their pretty little self. Playing football is something that I hope you cherish the rest of your life. Guys, I want you to stay up here because I want to get some pictures. When we get through, no, I tell you what, y'all go back to your seats because we got a video to watch. I'm sorry. Give them another big hand. I'm going to close this out, then we're going to watch a video. afterwards, if you, all of you, you won an award, whatever, I want you to come up here, get your picture made together. Many of you, I may want to get my picture made with you. I'm going to close this thing out by saying a couple of things. One is, tonight you get to see a different side of a lot of things that maybe you didn't see during the season. And that's okay, because I want you to see it all. I hope something else that you see is how much it means to me. I don't have to do this. I was called to do this, and it is a part of who I am. I don't always do it right, and I don't always do it the way I'm sure you think I should. But I do it the way, every night when I go to bed, I say, God, give me the wisdom to say the right thing to those kids tomorrow, to do the right things, and to be the right person in front of them. Sometimes I'm successful at that, sometimes I'm not. But my motive, I want you to know, as parents and as friends and as relatives, my motive is very pure. I have but one goal, and that's when your child leaves my organization, he is better when he leaves than when he came. And if I can have an impact to do that, if we can as an organization, we've achieved everything we need to achieve. Yes, we want to win championships. Yes, we want to win games. Yes, we want all that. And as believers, we should strive to be excellent in all that we do. But at the end of the day, I want your child to be better than when he got there. And if that happens, we've done what we're supposed to do. We're going to watch a video, and then we're going to adjourn. And I want to thank you all for giving me the privilege, truly, and I mean that, the privilege to spend a couple hours with your sons every afternoon. It is a privilege, and I take it very seriously. Thank you very much. Let's go see a video.